Hi there everybody, it's your favorite farmer for your June edition of Better Get to Know a Garden. It is the second day of summer and it feels like the second day of summer. We have quite a bit going on here to update you on, and we have reached the denouement of the garden. It's certainly not the conclusion, but it is a foregone conclusion about what's going to happen. Things are kind of out of my control. They're going to go along as they're going to go along. Things are going to grow or they're not going to grow. It's going to depend a lot on the weather. It's finally stopped raining and we are having to water a little bit. So with any further ado, let's take you on a tour. Okay, last time we had king asparagus, and this is what happens to asparagus when you stop harvesting. They just grow up into these really attractive looking ferns, and you can see this wire system that I've put together here that keeps these things upright, because that's what they need in order to get enough energy to become asparagus next year. They get pretty darn big and they want to go where they want to go. I think we're in good shape. Now you can see these are the little guys. These are the ones that are just a year old, and those are the big guys. Those are a couple years old. Those are the ones we got most of the asparagus from. And you can also notice the first pro tip that we're going to talk about today, and that's straw. And I got this idea from a CSA down the road, and noticed they would put straw around all their vegetables. They had quite a big operation, so I didn't want to weed all the time, and so I said, what the heck, for a bale of straw, let's try it. So far so good. It's really keeping the moisture in and the weeds down, and whatever weeds pop through are very easy to pull out. Also going on here in the asparagus patch, at least for this year, is our garlic. You can see we've got about 10 heads of these things in various spots. We just had an event that my master gardener assistant Brian told me about, and that's the garlic scapes harvest. Now the scapes are these guys that come out, and these are going to become the flowers. And if you leave them go, the bulbs do not get as big, but you can harvest these and kind of treat them like a green onion. And you can't smell them here, obviously, but they do smell garlicky and oniony. And there's a couple I missed yesterday. So the scape harvest is in, and I don't know if we'll do anything with them or not, but we have them. Second pro tip of the video is to use a good seed starter mix. And again, I have to credit Brian, my master gardener advisor. Here we can see got two different sets of plants here. These over here with your Hyponex type potting soil, and this is with the Pro Mix seed starter. And these are milkweed that Miss Hannah wants us to plant so she can harvest monarchs. And they were all planted at the same time, same seed, same everything, and you can see the results, quite dramatic. So I broke down and bought the large bag of seed starter mix. Won't use anything else in the future. Now we're down in front of the asparagus, where I'm going to be growing peppers, or certainly trying to. You may have occasionally heard me complain about the weather in Northeast Ohio, just occasionally. And most of what we have in here are different types of peppers: hot, mild, jalapeno, and shishitos. And I tried planting them in the terrible conventional seed mix, and none of them came up, so I finally got tired. I just direct sowed them, which I've done. They are coming up. Peppers like the heat, so they are starting to come up, and some of them are of decent size. Most of them are very small. Also in here are onions, trying to grow a few sweet onions, and Brian started them for me, and I've transplanted them here. Most of them are not doing anything. Some of them may become onions, some of them may just provide greenery. I've got some more back here, you can see, but I'm not real hopeful, but I never tried them, so I'm trying them. Got a few Brussels sprouts. Again, started very late in the year, terrible weather. We'll see if they do anything. A little bit hopeful, but mostly these are the Anaheim green chilies that we use a lot of, expecting big things here. Okay, coming into the main area where got some mixed results for sure. Planted a couple kinds of beans, the Blue Lake and the Improved. And these are the Improved from here on down. You can see they came up, did quite well. And these are the Blue Lake beans up here. And I don't know if I just had some bad seeds, but the germination rate on these Blue Lakes is not real good. Like I said, maybe it was just a bad packet of seeds, but the Improved are much better. I think I will stick with those in the near future. We got tomatoes. Some are big, some are small. These are the Super Salsa tomatoes. Really got them in there late, and I think they'll be okay if we have enough sun, and so far this month we have. Here's the Brandywines, and they're doing quite well. And then up at the top is the little cocktail tomatoes, the 4th of July. Now those I bought as plants because my seeds just were awful. So I broke down and bought plants, and they're starting to get flowers. They're supposed to be early. They look like they might be. Okay, so the cucumber trellis, you can identify the cucumbers at this point pretty easily. They're starting to really take off. Got a couple flowers down there, which means in about 2 weeks we'll have cucumbers. And in front of the cucumbers, just to get a little more productivity out of the real estate, there's kale. I've had one kale harvest and we ate it. It was really good, but it's incredible how much kale you need for how much you get. That's if I picked all of this, it wouldn't even be a dinner. We got squash, quite a few squash. They were puny, so I overplanted them, and now of course they're all growing. And just for fun, some pumpkins. In another 2 weeks these will start to really take off. And we have two other features down here in this kind of wasted space. My buddy in Shaker gave me these things from where he used to work. They used to wrap some of the transmission lines in them as a strain relief. And I've got pole beans. I just planted them today. They'll be coming up here and hopefully growing up the poles. They're Kentucky Wonders, so they're supposed to be the same as the bush beans, but they're pole beans. And then back here, I've got hopefully some tomatillas. There's one little tomatilla plant there, and there's a couple right there. Now these things last year looked real puny, and then they just took off and they just took over. So that's why I put them by themselves this year with their own little tomatilla containment system. They can grow up here and just grow wild. This is really not good soil down here at all, so I don't know what to really expect. But they seem to be pretty hardy. If they take hold, I think they're going to do okay. I planted some Swiss chard in here a long time ago, and I think maybe there's one plant here. I don't know. Is this a Swiss chard? I guess it is, but it doesn't like it. This soil needs a lot of work before it's going to be productive. And now let's talk about critter control. So these things have been browsed. Look at this. Something's been in here. I suspect a rabbit. I don't see any deer tracks. I don't think they got in here, but a groundhog or a deer has gotten in here. and chewed off all the tops of these. And rabbits loves them some green beans, they really do. So for critter control, this is what we use. It's called rabbit mace, and it's putrefied eggs, thyme oil, clove oil, rosemary, things like that, very strong smelling, and they really don't like it. And it does work, but you got to spray it. So I'm going to be, when we get done here, I'm spraying it down, everything, the perimeter, and hopefully that'll do it. A couple other little surprises. If you remember in the last video, this had beautiful red flowers on here, and the hummingbirds have come along and done their thing. This is the red buckeye, and these are going to be the buckeye nuts. They're going to grow all summer and get up to about the size of a very large marble. And if the squirrels don't get them, then you can plant them and grow more red buckeyes like this down here and this over here. I don't know if they'll stay there, but for right now they seem pretty happy. And then one last little surprise. We've a long time ago I put up these bluebird boxes, and that box down there, we had a family that raised a brood, and they fledged, and now, okay, so I'm going to show you what they've done. They started another brood, and real quick, there's her eggs, 3 eggs. So I think in a couple weeks we will have little baby bluebirds, and I'll try to get some pictures of them if everybody makes it. And in closing, I have a note from our Bronx contingent, and she says, Dad, 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 please, no names. We're going to be out in the Great Pacific Northwest. I'm going to be helping with my sister's garden. Would you and Mom be able to come out there and show us a few of your pro tips in person? Well, Michelle, I can't help it. I did say her name. We will be out there just for you, and if there's any other event out there that the people on this video looking at it would want to attend, they're welcome to join us in Hood River and Tacoma, Washington. See you there.